Hey guys, so I just wrapped up the Pimax Crystal Light headset review. It's fairly long. It was my first impression. Pimax was kind enough to send it to Sim Racing Nation so I could get my first impressions on it coming from an HP Reverb G2. I have a big screen beyond 2 hopefully coming in within the next couple months here. So just for context, I have a Ryzen 9 9800X 3D and an RTX 3090. I thought I'd do a quick video to let you guys know after I shot it, just so you could see what kind of uh, you know PC processing power and GPU power I had, in case you miss it during the video or in case I forget to mention it. I don't remember everything I said in the video, so I am basically uploading it and getting it onto YouTube right away, just so it's out there and you have a completely honest, unfiltered review. It starts out with some negative aspects, a lot of cons in the beginning. As I start to figure things out, they start turning into pros and some more positives. But I do have pros and cons with the headset. So once again, thanks for watching it. You can watch it on 2x speed if you want to zip through it. It's fairly lengthy. But once again, thanks Pimax for sending it out. And I hope everybody has a really good experience watching the video. If you want to see further reviews on this in the coming weeks, I'll be publishing a more in-depth review in my newsletter, grid-geeks.com. So you can go to subscribe to that to see, you know, more in-depth article where I get more into the nitty-gritty and everything. So thanks again, guys. Hey guys, it's Strovich here. I'm just doing a video for Pimax. This is my first time trying on the headset and giving you guys a unbiased opinion. They're kind enough to send me the headset and give it a go. So I myself am just upgrading from an HP Reverb G2. So as a lot of you know, Windows 11, if you've updated, your HP Reverb G2 is now a paperweight. I haven't yet, but I've been looking around. I have the big screen beyond 2 coming in. I think I'll be waiting about 5 months since I placed my order to receive it, which is pretty crazy. When Pimax reached out to me and asked me to do a review for the Pimax Crystal Light headset, I got the headset within 2 days. So they definitely have inventory in, so that's a bonus. And the delivery speed was phenomenal. I'm sure it was much faster because I'm doing a review for them. And with the agreement I signed, it is completely open to whatever I want to say. So I know there's pros and cons to, big screen beyond 2 versus the Quest 3 versus the Crystal Light. From sim racing uh, to flight sims, it seems like a lot of people typically go to these 3 headsets. So it's gonna be nice to see the difference, especially with upgrading from a Reverb G2, because a lot of people are going to be looking for that next headset to upgrade to soon here. I've got it right here. As you can see, I've just plugged it in and got the wiring all set up. I did a firmware update. I have yet to put it on and see any kind of screen, display. So it's going to be a first time reaction when you guys see me load up iRacing and give it a go. I'm big into iRacing, so that's the only sim that I usually do. Also, yeah, I guess we'll get it on here. It's weird too. It seems like every other sim racing reviewer is balding these days. So, anyways, uh, yeah, the foam pad on this, it seems pretty comfy. I don't know what version of the strap they sent me. Looks pretty beefy to start with, so that's a bonus. I'm assuming it's just stock with the controllers here. They gave me two of these. They plug in and recharge, which is nice. USB-C on the end here. I was looking for batteries at first and noticed that it came with two USB-C cables, one for each charger. And I was like, maybe it's for the ones here. So, anyways, once I got that all sorted out, I was good. With the Reverb G2, I was always looking for a couple extra batteries because they would die pretty fast. So, first impressions here, before I even put it on, there's these interesting nose flaps here. So, let's see what happens. Okay, so first off, I need to adjust it here. So, looks like this dial on the back clips in and out. So let's just dial it out a little here. We'll get it out pretty far, and then I'll put it on my head and bring it in. Almost like a bicycle helmet, if you've ever had to put one on and adjust it to the back of your head, something like a bell helmet or something. Whoa, holy crap. There is an image on my screen of mountains. That is insane. I did not expect that. Holy crap. That is clear. Wow. Damn. Okay, so before we get into what I'm seeing here, it's kind of feels a little bit funny on my cheekbones. I have a bit of a smaller head, I think, compared to most, but it feels like the face plate here it's pretty wide, and this seems like it's like the strap part is it's not quite dialed in. So let's see, adjust that here. Okay, so I appear to have a Velcro strap here, so that's good. So I'm just gonna put it back on my head here, give that a go. Okay, so my goal with this review is just to do one uncut review. There's a lot of glitchy scenery in the background here. I don't know if it's trying to like render a certain distance or what's going on here. I don't even know if it thinks it's supposed to be facing forward. Wow, that's pretty cool though. Feels like I'm on some kind of planet here looking up at another huge planet. Anyways, okay, so first opinion is there is definitely some space on the side of my head here. Doesn't matter how much I tighten it, there's always a space here. So I'm assuming it's supposed to be like that. The nose rest, this flap thing, kind of feels a little bit funny, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. First impression is like it doesn't feel too much heavier than my HP Reverb G2. First impression of like the screen itself, wow. That is clear. That is absolutely insane. I don't know what these. Oh, I think I just found the power button because everything disappeared. Okay, let's turn it back on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's a button that appears to put the screen to sleep on there. It's not adjusting my IPD right away. Everything seems like it's okay. Feeling the sides here. There's definitely a lot of glitching going on, and it almost feels like the eyepieces, like the lenses, are so close to my eyes. It almost feels like my eyelashes are brushing against them, and it feels like it's fogging up really easily. So I'm gonna try to take this back off. Okay, it's not as easy. You do have to adjust it each time. It does have a flippy thingy on here, but that's not going to be very useful, in my opinion. It's a little bit it's big, that's for sure. And when it comes to audio, maybe these are my speakers. As I said, I haven't done a lot of research on this thing before they sent me it, so it'd be kind of a surprise. Let's see, what is my output detecting? Okay, so these must be the speakers because it's detected Pimax audio. So go with the default speakers here. They don't adjust or anything, so you're kind of just stuck with whatever is being shot out to your ears. It looks like it's kind of tried to angle down to your ears, so we'll see how that is for quality. While we're at it, I did do a cool little video that they try to do in other reviews where they do like a 360 shot of it. So let's go to that. Okay, and we're back. Yeah. So let's see. Let's just load right into iRacing here. So I have iRacing open and updated. The Pimax interface itself, I did a firmware update when I first got it just to make sure it was up to date. Pretty straightforward. So it has a couple options here. I'm not going to go into them right away, and I'm not going to go into the device settings right away, but I do want to click it. I'm very tempted to right now. But I'm just going to hop right into iRacing and then maybe adjust the device settings after this if we're running into any issues. Because if I'm getting this headset and I'm not very, technology driven or anything, I'll probably just want to plug it in, figure out how to turn the screen on, and load up iRacing. I'm sure a lot more people are more confident than that, but we're setting the bar pretty low here. So let's go to test drive here. I've got the super formula on SPA. SPA has been updated. So that will give me a pretty good idea of what performance is like. I turned on the foveated rendering before I turned my HP Reverb G2 off and unplugged it, so that setting is still on. I was getting a locked like 90 FPS. I have a 3090 with a 9800X 3D. My other PC beside me is a 3070 with a 3800X. So I have a pretty good range. My GPU now, the 3090, is no more powerful than like say a 4070. Most people with VR would probably have that new foveated rendering that they came out with in iRacing with the most recent update. I'm thinking that's going to give quite a boost all around. I went into the initialization settings of iRacing, and that little blurry ring that they have with the foveated rendering setting that only RTX cards have access to, by the way, I made the ring quite wide, like as wide as it could go. So there's minimal blurring around the edges. So what I'm really going to notice here is the immediate clarity, hopefully, when I put this headset on. So let's go to test drive here. I don't even know if it's going to load up to start when I pop this on. Like I see the screen in front of me, so I'm hoping when I hit test drive with my OpenXR settings, it'll just open up right away. So we're about to find out what happens. So that's another thing is I can't see the screen either in the Pimax universe when I turn the display on. So I'm going to have to also try to figure that out, which might not be so easy. So I'm going to hit test drive and pop this on and see what happens. Okay, the sim is starting. Oh, I'm on ground level, so something's going on here. First off, the HP Reverb G2 was definitely a lot more comfortable. Oh, what was that? Okay, so note to self, when you try to pull on it, it'll automatically pull back on you. So we'll get it back, dialed back in here. So the HP Reverb G2, you know, got on them for immediate comfort. I'll tell you that much. Like, this will definitely take some getting used to. My big screen Beyond 2, I sent stuff into like my face scan in, so I'm gonna get it custom fitted. So I'm sure that one, once it goes on, if they fit it correctly, it'll feel good. I went to load up iRacing, nothing happened, so we're gonna have to try to figure out what's going on here. A little bit annoying to start, but yeah, I guess we're gonna have to actually figure things out here. So let's go to the device settings. Okay, so I'm just going around the device settings here. And there we go. Okay, so I went to general and it has an OpenXR runtime, which is just a couple options down. So I'm going to click set Pimax OpenXR as OpenXR runtime. So this might solve my problem. Okay, that was easy. So it is now at Pimax OpenXR. So let's try this again. I don't know if I have to do anything else. iRacing is in OpenXR mode. Okay, so it didn't tell me to restart the device or anything, or the service. So let's try this again. Okay, so let's go to test drive and click test drive. Okay, I'm sitting here waiting for something to happen. Now that's going to take some time getting used to. It just doesn't want to rest nicely on my cheekbone, so almost feels like my face is getting smushed down a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's loaded iRacing off to the side here. So now it was just the OpenXR runtime. What I'm noticing right away with the loading screen is there is so much more clarity and vibrancy just on that little loading screen you get from iRacing, which is over here right now. So this is why I'm looking that way. I have a centering button on my wheel, so I'll hit that once I load in. But wow, the color, wow. Now that is nice. Once again, I just trying to get the feeling kind of set a little better here, but holy wow. It feels like my eyelashes are actually touching the thing here. So let's rest it down a little more. Okay. Okay, that's a little better. I think I just had it up a bit too high. So first off, I usually like to have my head back on the seat. I can't do that. So I'm already feeling a little naturally more awkward sitting here because my head's a little bit further ahead. So that is definitely a negative for me. But the clarity is a 10 out of 10. The field of view, it doesn't feel too much different than my HP Reverb G2. But the clarity is definitely a step up. But you can definitely tell that that there is a little bit of yeah, just something doesn't feel quite perfect with them, but it is definitely nice. But I almost feel like the lenses want to plug up a bit or something. Just okay. Okay, let's test it out here. Put that beside me, that controller beside me, and I gotta go into options because I have to make sure that my sound is being output. So It's on my previous headset. Let's find the Pimax. There we go. And just hit done. And we're gonna load right in. Okay, sounds pretty nice. Yeah, this is one beefy head strap at the back here. So, whoa, we just crashed out. I went black screen. That's kind of annoying. Why did it go black screen? This isn't a good first experience. Everything's glitching out on my screen. Controller not detected. Press and hold the headset volume for 2 seconds. So why does it matter if my controller is not detected? I don't need it. Doesn't matter. Okay, so things so far, that's, you know, honeymoon phase. I'm trying to figure things out here. Looks like I gotta exit out, guys. Let's try it one more time. Going back in. And we'll just wait until it loads up here. Okay, we're loading in. Everything's central again. Much more vibrant colors, as I mentioned before. So if I was to get lens inserts, you definitely have to get a spacer or something, because on my Reverb G2 I had lens inserts, and it was a nice to have for sure, because I didn't have to wear contacts. I had to put a pair on again, recording later at night, so my eyes are a little tired already. Yeah, let's see here. Okay. I've not changed anything. I'm going to go to options. I'm going to show my frame rate now. So, seems like everything, the option screen, everything's like a little almost convex. So, some kind of slightly odd image rendering going on here. Okay, let's try testing again. Okay, so seems like everything's going good now. Maybe it just had to calibrate itself. So, one thing I'm getting is I'm feeling a slight bit of motion sickness almost putting this on. Like, compared to my Reverb G2, it felt nice and comfortable, but just something seems a little weird. It almost seems like the whole screen is slightly convex, or is the word concave when it goes into you a little bit. It almost feels like the screen is like wrapped around me a tiny bit. And the Super Formula card, just going for a good drive here. The sound quality is not too bad. It definitely does not compare to the Reverb G2. It seems a little flat for a stock speaker, so that's one thing that I don't think I'm as impressed with. I would say the DMAS headphones they have, when you're paying this much for something, should come by default. You don't chintz out on sound when you have a headset, that's for sure. Image quality, definitely great. I'm getting a locked 90 frames per second, especially with increased resolution, but I'm just not as impressed with the sound by default. So I almost wouldn't upsell people on the demos. I would just start including these by default, in my opinion, because you either have good audio or you don't include audio at all, in my opinion. I did a lot of music production through the years, and when I hear a bad pair of speakers on a very expensive unit, just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But yeah, no issues now, no crashing out. So I think the previous issue I was experiencing, whoa, holy crap. Okay, that makes me feel sick. My headset just started to wave around with this tracking. It is not making me feel good right now. I'm actually feeling nauseous. I'm gonna stop. Okay, so the tracking was working really well, and then about halfway through a lap, it just stopped working properly on me. Like it lost its reference points or something. I actually feel pretty nauseous. So, I'm gonna go into settings here, see what's going on. This is actually making me feel sick. I've not had that feeling for a while. Wow. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what happened there. Everything seemed like it was just going along nicely, working great. I was almost finished my first lap as well. Then all of a sudden I get this like vortex style feeling where I'm about to like launch at a light speed or something, and the frames just started to, everything was smooth. There was no choppiness. It just felt like it lost complete tracking, and nothing has changed in front of me. So that isn't good. I'm gonna go to device settings here. I'm exiting out. Going to Pimax settings here. Not sure what is going on. Let's see, no updates for the HMD. There might be a controller update, but that's not affecting me much. Refresh rate I kept at 90 hertz. There's a screen timeout. I don't think that has much to do with anything. Games, general, advanced. Okay, I'm not seeing much. There's motion compensation, but I don't need it. I'm not on a motion rig or anything. Okay, so let's back out of this. Let's go see if we can find something here. Room settings. Can you set up in VR? Okay, so here we go. Room settings. Move to the center of the designated game area. Once there, put on the headset and follow instructions. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's try quick mode here. Looks like I need the controller. Immediately detected, pretty good. Okay, quick mode, sitting, border size, what is big? Middle, small, no obstacles in the space before starting. Okay, next step. Okay, 360 scan. Okay, here we go. Start scanning. So now we know. Okay, let's do a scan first. Okay, so perform a 360 scan and press B. Where's B? Okay. Okay, so now it's catching every part of my room. Make all the dots disappear. Okay, so when you first put the headset on, I would say the most important thing that they want to do is immediately have you do this right away. I would say that would actually increase the user experience because without it, we had those issues right away with motion. It seemed to be working, then it didn't. So I think there should be a prompt on screen that just says, hey, you need to scan the space first. So now that we scanned the space, everything looks good. As I said, this is a first time review, so we're just learning everything as we go. So you're getting a very raw experience. Okay, so we're good. Once again, I don't see a screen, so I don't know what would bring up my computer screen on here. Oh, look at, what is this? Video see-through, room setting, recenter, Steam VR. Okay, so the menu button does this. Now playing desktop. There we go. Okay, so I press the Pimax button, and now I can see my desktop. So we're good here. Everything still seems a little like, I think the word I'm looking for is concave, where it almost looks like there's like a slight concave feeling to the device. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that yet. I can't see my mouse. I can only see the controller, which is controlling my mouse. I don't like that all the time. Sometimes I just like to use my mouse. But okay, here we go. Very accurate and well done with the controller. It feels like it's really connected. The HP Reverb G2 had a lot of issues with the controller. It would almost never feel like a track, but this immediate responsiveness, like feels like I'm Harry Potter or something, or got a lightsaber in my hand. It's pretty good. So let's minimize this. Let's try test drive again. See what happens. Okay. Putting the controller down. Experience is going much better. As I said, this is a first time thing. This is my honest opinions right off the bat. Things are looking better now. Launching the server. Let's try another lap here. One thing I do want to eventually figure out, as I said, is this convex mode. But I have longer eyelashes too, and they are rubbing, on the screen. I don't know how I would fix that unless I bought a different headset with padding. I know the goal is to have the lenses as close as possible to your eyes so you get the biggest field of view. But I just can't. I can't see a yeah. I can't see a reason why this would actually be super beneficial if I was to go without contacts and want to get inserts. I don't know what the inserts look like. If I was to get a prescription lens and put it on the Pimax headset. Yeah, here we are. We're back in the car again, and yeah, still slightly weird feeling. We shouldn't have any issues now. Everything feels nice and connected. It did before it started bugging out. Once again, audio just not quite there. There might be something in the settings I can dial in, but it feels like you're listening to a tin can right now or something. Okay. Going. Doing a nice lap through. Everything seems quite connected. Might just be me having to get used to slightly inward screen feeling. The field of view doesn't feel too much bigger than my Reverb G2, but the clarity, bar none, is stunning right now. Okay, I'm not having any issues with tracking at all, so well done. No micro stutters, nothing. GPU and CPU keeping up completely fine. Definitely super impressed now. It's just comfort level, not quite the same as a Reverb G2. I can't pull my head back. I feel like I'm, slouch forward a little more than I usually would be. I kind of like to lean my head back. I don't know how this would affect me over a longer endurance section in a GT3 car or anything. That's kind of one thing that I think I could have issues with is getting neck pain because I can't rest my head against the back of the chair. And with the Big Stream Beyond 2 coming in, I will be able to, but the fact that the adjustment is at the back here doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I almost feel like you should have the dials or something on the side. I understand it's a bigger headset, but it just when half the time you're sitting and doing flight sims or racing, you want to have a comfortable experience for your head to reduce strain. So that would be a big takeaway. That and the audio quality. Initial setup, everybody has their hiccups. Like, I think we've got everything good now. Where it's pressing down on my face, my beard is there. I'm starting to notice like it's kind of hurting my mustache. Feels like it's just pushing my sharp, stubby mustache hairs into my face, so that kind of hurts a little bit. But yeah, overall, it's definitely a way bigger improvement from the HP Reverb G2. I know the Reverb G2 has similar clarity. It just doesn't when compared to the Quest 3 or the Meta Quest 3. But yeah, I've done a couple laps now around Spa. I think that's a good enough first time reaction review. There were a lot of downs at first, but in the end, I would say there are a lot more positives. I'm getting used to the feeling of these optics a little more now. But yeah, there's definitely room for improvement for how much you're paying for this kind of VR headset. Now, if you are interested in purchasing one, they do have some good discounts going on. But yeah, it's gonna take some time here. But if you do want a good discount, you can reach out to me one-on-one. But yeah, it's not looking too shabby. I think it could grow on me. I'm gonna have to spend some more time with it here. But I'm getting a locked 90 frames still on Spa with fairly good graphics settings. So I did not have to adjust anything going from my Reverb G2 up to this. I really do miss the sound clarity that the G2 had with its headphones. So Pimax definitely look at including the those DMOS headphones with every unit. When you sell something like this with high quality, it should 100% come with that. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that was on enough for you. Thanks for letting me try that out. I'm gonna do a write up here. Grid Geeks, call it a Tech Tuesday or something, and we'll go from there.